Hi, Jeff Marsocci, the plain English attorney, and I am got a special person on today. We're going to be interviewing Bobby Setzer of the Estate Planning Source. So let's go ahead and bring her in. Hello, Bobby. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Jeff. How are you?
Doing fantastic. All right, so let's go ahead and there we go. All right, so we're going to be talking a little bit about education and getting into estate planning. And I know this is a big problem that's out there. There are a lot of attorneys and even financial advisors who say they do estate planning, but they're not really getting it 100% right. They're not getting the right kind of education around it. They're not really understanding what they're doing for estate planning. And honestly, I got to blame my own profession more. There are attorneys who just think, well, I got a template and I passed the bar exam, so yeah, I can go ahead and do an estate plan. But without thoroughly understanding it, they can end up getting themselves into a lot of trouble if they're just doing this as a small part-time gig. But you get the right foundation, you get the right documents, you get a whole network of people. It can work out greatly to their advantage and for their business. So just letting everybody know, how did I originally meet Bobby? Okay, this was a long time ago. For both our sakes, I'm not going to say exactly how long ago it was. But it was when I got involved with what was then the estate plan. It's now the Estate Planning Source. I went to their Advanced Institute in Reno, my first time being in Reno. And there was Henry W. Apps III, the author of The Living Trust. This was his kind of organization, but Bobby was already there, and she helped plan all this stuff out, and she kind of walked me through it. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about your experience in putting together these conferences in education.
Well, as you said, I've been doing this a very long time. Um,
Yeah.
Started with Henry many years ago. But basically, we would go through and we set up basic institutes, which it goes over the basic concepts, touches on advanced concepts, and touches on settlement. And it's a
Mm-hmm.
2-day course that you go through and just get the basic education, but it's just so much more than that. Basically, you get to meet attorneys and advisors from all over the country that have either been doing this for a long time or are just starting out like you are, and you make
Mm-hmm.
those acquaintances that will be with you and you'll be working with them for decades to come. And then
Yeah,
the
and
go ahead.
yeah, I was going to say, yeah, but we've just to kind of really nail it down. The Basic Institute is really kind of covering the basics. Revocable living
Exactly.
trust, the different types of
Mm,
documents, the
right.
clauses that really do mean a lot, which help you understand it. If you're just an attorney, it's like, oh, I found this template and I can download it. Now I can use it. Well, you don't even really understand it. I mean, that's like giving someone who says, I want to be a doctor. All right, here's a scalpel, go to it. Whoa, there's a whole lot more to understand what's going on before you should really be doing that. But that's the basic end. And, you say it's a basic institute. That implies, oh, it's just all new people. But there are a lot of people that I've been to probably close to 10, if not 10 basic institutes throughout the years. It's always a good refresher and it's always good to network. So if you're going to the
And
Basic
laws
Institute,
change, concepts
laws,
change.
yeah, and you're meeting people who have been there. So I think the last one that I attended was the one in Baltimore,
Yes.
and probably more than a third were returning people.
Yes. That's
Or
about
that's
the
about
average.
right.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that was good. But then now there's the Advanced Institute. And tell us a little bit more, because I know there's an awful lot more planning that has to go
Oh
into
yeah,
that as
we
well.
only do one a year, or the basic we may do
Mm-hmm.
multiple a year. The advance is only once because that's all I
Yeah.
can put together. It's a 3-day course. I bring in specialists from all over the country to come in and teach on advanced concepts, and every
Mm-hmm.
year it's different. We go in depth on settlement and whatever particular advanced concepts are trending. We will go through and
Mm-hmm.
educate you on them. Um, it's just a really great course. It's a lot larger course.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I remember the last one that we did. There was a lot of good stuff on the updated, the quote, Secure Act 2.0 with
yes.
once the regulations kicked in and they started making rules. It's like, oh, here's all this new stuff. But that's where we got it, was the Advanced Institute.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
And we have specialists come in and teach on settlement too, which is a huge part
mm-hmm,
of this. A lot of people say, oh, I can do your will or I can do your trust.
mm-hmm,
Well, what happens when they die?
yeah,
You need to
yeah,
know what to do because it's not the same as going through the probate in your state.
yeah, because they do come back to you.
Mhm.
That's the important thing. Now, this network within the estate planning source, it's attorneys, it's advisors, it's
Mhm.
accountants, other professionals,
Absolutely.
all coordinating and working together. If you're the trusted individual who worked to get their plan put together, those clients are coming back to you and saying, okay, what do we do now?
And
Or it's the
if they've
client's
forgotten who that
kids.
is, they call us and we tell them who they
Yeah,
worked with originally and send them back to you.
exactly. So this is, getting all of that great information helps. One thing, there's also now that you've been doing for about a year and it's continuing on, it's monthly webinars. So it's a little more on just information transmittal, but it's specific topics. So it's only one thing. But that's also a great help, isn't it?
About an hour a month of your time and you get invaluable information.
Yeah. Tell us, what were some of the better ones that you've seen, or at least the best response from the people in the network?
Oh, I mean, they've all been really good
Yeah.
webinars. You've taught a couple of them.
Okay.
I know
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
had, I'm drawing a blank.
Well, yeah, one that I remember was it Jonathan Graham and
He did the
professional
ILETs,
trustees.
and he
Pilots.
actually,
Yep.
everybody loved the ILET presentation and when to
Mm-hmm.
use an insurance trust and when not to. So that was a
Okay.
great, great uh, webinar.
Okay. Yeah. One of the things that I always want to make sure that I'm emphasizing, yeah, these sessions are great,
Hmm.
but a lot of times I learn more or learn something I hadn't
Hmm.
thought about, get ideas, and look at things in a different way when I'm talking with people outside of the sessions. We're having lunch, we're discussing something, people are talking about cases and things that they've had that relate back to that information. But I get so much out of that. So it's almost like I'm getting the benefit of two conferences. It's the presentation, but then also the quote networking. So and this is a little bit also talking about immersion versus just receiving information. It's two different things.
And they actually on
Yeah.
these webinars have an opportunity to talk to the speaker and
Mm-hmm.
ask questions.
Yeah.
The
And they
speakers
do.
are open to that.
Yeah.
They're It's just an opportunity. And
Yeah.
we have our network of attorney is great because I'll have people call me and say, I have a question on, say, Medicaid. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
have a Medicaid attorney that I can refer you over to. Or they'll say, oh, I have a tax question. Well, let me send you over to my tax attorney that works in our network. So you have opportunities to work with anybody in the United States that's in our
Mm-hmm.
network.
Yeah.
So,
And that's great. Talking again a little bit about more of the immersion thing, just to tell a story in a, I don't want to say a previous life, it wasn't that long ago. I was kind of an advisor for a college service organization. And what we used to do, everybody looked at me weird. It's like, how can you do this? We'd have a strategic planning weekend. So it was like a whole Friday night all the way through noon or later on Sunday, sitting in a conference room, running through, putting together an entire strategic plan. And I remember all of the, in the adult service organization. Oh, you're never going to get these kids to sit still and blah. No, they got into it. They really did get into it. And they came out with this plan. And they executed the plan throughout the year. They had a calendar. So they came away with a full strategic plan. That never would have happened if it was the way the adults were saying, oh, we can do this in a Saturday morning or an afternoon, 1 hour session here, a couple of breakouts. It'll be fine. No, it wasn't. So my point is, look, if you want to do a basic institute or advanced institute and you get the chance to, oh, well, I can do it remote or I can do it in person, it's a lot different actually being there, being immersed in it, and being able to talk with people and provide examples and do exchanges of information and, quote, mutual mentoring. That's a huge opportunity that you shouldn't overlook.
I agree 100%. I mean, statistically, because I've been doing this a long time, statistically, when I run the numbers, the people that have attended the courses actually produce 80% more than the ones that do not.
Oh, you're talking about virtual versus in person.
Yes.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference. It's like they absorb more for some reason. And they also build that relationships, and they do more business.
Well, that's the business aspect. I can 100% confirm the whole, okay, if you're virtual and you're just watching, someone's coming in, hey, I need you to take a look at this. Or wait a minute, I need you to do this. And something's popping up on the screen. Oh, here's an instant message from some. When you are in the conference and you blocked all that stuff out because you're attending this, all of those distractions are gone. And you're focused so much more, you're absorbing so much more. The only and this is something with me, my brain is always going. I also get some of my best ideas for books or courses or topics. And when I'm sitting in there, it's like, okay, I've got one notepad here's what we're talking about, and I got another with, okay, here's ideas I need to follow up on when I get back home. Right. So it really, being there helps quite a bit.
I agree. And they're fun. We try not to, it's a lot of heavy material. That's why we make sure we feed you really well and give you breaks and stuff, because it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. And now, while you were talking, my biggest webinar, actually, it popped into my head. The biggest attendance was the gun trust.
Okay.
Remember that one? That was a huge webinar. A lot of people that just don't understand them. And we had an attorney come in, and she did a great job explaining how the laws work and how the document itself works.
All right. So we should mention at this point that there is a basic institute. It's coming up May 6th and 7th in Salt Lake City. And so we'll make sure that we're going to put a link to that registration. So if there are attorneys, financial advisors who want to get into estate planning, but they want to network, they want a way to get the really good documents, this is a place to get it. So let me comment a little bit on the documents and kind of get your input, because I know that there's a lot of updating that has to happen all the time.
Yeah.
In my experience, from what I've seen, because there were a lot of other organizations that approached me before the estate plan, now the estate planning source did, I'd say when I'm reviewing trusts from other attorneys or other groups, I'd say about 80% of them are what Henry Apps used to call thin trusts. They were just very, very basic, referred back to state law as opposed to here's the best thing. Right. And it just ended up being unable to handle anything other than the most basic circumstances.
Right.
Even a lot of them, if you had a special needs child or grandchild, that language was really insufficient. On the other end, I see about 15%, that's not a ton, but 15% are really good. 5% only are like, yeah, pretty good. I don't know why it's those two extremes comprising 95%, but that's what I see. But when I saw the estate planning source, I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what my clients need because it's going to handle all of these other situations.
And we've actually went to the point where we want the trust itself is a national document. There is provisions in that revocable living trust to address all the states.
Mm-hmm.
The ancillaries, of course, have to be state specific, but the
Right.
trust itself is a national document. It will be recognized in any of the states.
Right. And that's the main thing that you're doing in the office day to day. It's putting these documents together for attorneys.
And we custom
who are
draft.
custom
Each
drafted.
client's different. We make sure the language is appropriate for that client at the direction of the attorney.
Right. So you've got all of those specifics. That's what the estate planning source is doing day to day. But this education piece really is kind of critical.
It's very important. Right. And the other reason the attorneys love it is they get CLEs for attending. It's true.
It is true. Look, you need that anyway if you can really help transform your business or add to it in such a significant way as attending a basic institute or an advanced institute and get some CLE credits along the way. Hey, that's just a big bonus. I know on my end, I try to do everything I can to teach at least one course at the Advanced Institute each year because in North Carolina, we get 6 hours of credit for every hour that we teach. So I would much rather do the research and provide some good information at an Advanced Institute as opposed to sitting through another thing from the state bar. There's a lot more practical stuff that's going to come out, at least that I've seen, in a basic institute and an advanced institute, as opposed to the official stuff that's put out by the state bar, at least what I've seen in North Carolina. Right. All right, so let's go ahead. And is there anything you want to add before we once again plug the Basic Institute as well as preview the Advanced Institute?
Not that I can think of. You've done a really good job of asking questions and keeping me on track. I appreciate that.
Okay, thanks.
But no, our courses are a very crucial part of our business. However, the documents are our bread and butter. So between the two, and we also have staff. If an advisor or attorney has questions, call us. We'll strategize with you. We'll talk about concepts. It's not only at the basic, but I don't have time to teach a 16-hour course over the phone. Yes. So I definitely would prefer that people attend the course.
Okay. Well, I know that I'm already signed up for the Basic Institute in Salt Lake City, and that's, again, May 6th and 7th, 2024. Now, there is something specific that we're adding as an incentive for people to come and actually attend in person and come in a little bit early. That night before, May 5th, I'm going to be going over social media. I will actually read it. Social media and podcasting to boost your business. We may fool around a little bit with the title there a little bit, but basically I'm going to go through, here are the essentials that you're going to need if you really want to enhance your estate planning practice. And the big reason is because even if you don't think it's true, it is true. You may be getting referrals from other professionals. People are checking you out, not just on your website, but on different forms of social media. And I can tell you that with the amount of business that I'm getting through Google, it's through Google, but it's getting over to YouTube, which is also getting to other posts, and people are like, this person knows what they're talking about. So I'm going to run through, again, just for people attending in person that evening. Here's how I do it, and here are some of the specifics that can help you. So that will be on the 5th. Now, we also do have an Advanced Institute coming up
Yes.
That's September 23rd through the 25th in 2024. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the location and what's going on with that one?
Well, the location was picked. I want to go. It's in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to be beautiful in September. I'm looking forward to that. It's actually 5 miles from Dollywood. So I'll probably
Okay.
build in an extra day to go have some fun. Um, but that class is really shaping up. Some of the speakers coming in. I have an attorney coming in to teach on settlement from a separate property state this year. Last year was from a community property state,
Okay.
so it's going to be a really good concept there. And we have a couple other really interesting topics that have not been addressed yet.
Okay.
Um, I don't know if we want to let that out yet or not.
Well, okay. I know it's something that we've been working on.
Yes,
Let's
it
just
is.
keep it very general and say leveraging charities to greatly benefit your beneficiaries. And this is a
That's correct.
concept that I sometimes talk about. People don't realize how much more your family can get back by leaving things through a charity. And I mean, we're talking about, yeah, they can actually get more dollars back. So your beneficiaries win, the charity wins. The only people who lose out, it's Uncle Sam. Sorry. Most people
It's a
don't feel
great
too bad
concept,
about
and I'm
that.
excited about that. So,
Yes. Okay. All right. So once again, we are, with Bobby Setzer. Thank you very much for joining us. And as I mentioned, we'll have links in the description where you can register for the Basic Institute as well as the Advanced
yeah.
Institute. And I hope that you can make it and come down in person to Salt Lake City. It's really going to be worth the trip.
Thank you.
All right. Well, as I always tell my clients, please stay safe, plan ahead, and enjoy life. And whatever you do, make it a great day.